Welcome, everyone. Welcome, dreamers, to another exciting episode of the Dream Dojo live stream, where we explore mysteries of the subconscious mind and unlock the potential of your dreams. I'm your host, Night Owl, guiding you through this journey of self-discovery and dream exploration. Today, we have special guests joining us, Suzanne Snell, a certified Reiki master practitioner, clinical hypnotherapist, and expert in dream interpretation and metaphysics. Laura's journey into the realms of dreams and energetic healing has been nothing short of fascinating, and we're thrilled to have her wisdom here with us today. Laura, thank you so much for being here, and I'll give you a moment to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Laura. It's good to be here today. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. To kick things off, maybe you could share with our viewers how your journey into dream work and metaphysics began.
Oh, wow. Well, I majored in psychology and I said, not so much. There's got to be more, just more. So I started studying everything metaphysical that I could get my hands on. And how I got into Reiki was I actually had a long-standing medical condition. I had endometriosis, which for you ladies out there, death would be kinder. And Western medicine had failed me, so I was looking for a more alternative approach, and it found me. I was healed through Reiki, and due to that, I became a Reiki master. And that's just part of who I am now and part of everything I do.
Wow, that is incredible, Laura. It's clear your path has been filled with exploration, learning, and healing. Um, so, how have your dreams personally impacted your life and your professional journey?
I feel like my dreams are kind of my internal GPS. They tell me when I'm on track, when I'm off track, and I just love my dreaming self. I wish I could be her all the time. I never have to Google anything in a dream. I always know the answer and I always know exactly what to do. I never hesitate. I'm such a badass in my dreams. I wish I could be that much always in waking life, but I'm able to take a lot of what I get from my dreams and implement it in my waking life. I get a lot of answers to questions. I can see people's intentions. I can see a lot in my dreams. And the right dreams always show up at the right time to give me the guidance and inspiration that I need, and the message and the strength to carry forth and carry through.
Yeah, it is fascinating how dreams can really encourage us to be our authentic selves. And there's such a safe space to really explore that path. So, let me ask you this. So many viewers struggle with remembering their dreams. So, what advice would you give to those who find it difficult to recall their dreams?
I can relate to that, Jesse. I have four. Bambi in Dream Enthusiast coined the term the dream disturbers for pets or children that wake you up. I have four dream disturbers that wake me up, usually right and when I'm in my deepest REM sleep. So I have found that recording your dream in some way, shape, or form, whether you speak it out loud to yourself or to your partner, if you record it on your phone, if you just jot down some notes, you've got to make some effort to get it out within the first 15 minutes of being awake. Otherwise, it's going to just be like a cobweb and just disintegrate. Because if you rely on your memory, once you really get moving, get up, get doing your routine, it's going to go away.
Yeah, I do agree that getting it out, regardless of how you do so, is the essential first step. And it's almost like we can trick our brains into recognizing how important dreams are just by keeping that simple habit alone. So perhaps it starts with the intention to remember your dreams and why. And it sounds like from your experience, dreams have just been a source of inspiration for you, that has led you to want to remember experience and work with them even more. Can you share maybe just one interesting anecdote of like a dream that did inspire you?
Oh, I wanted to also add to the previous question. If you stay in bed, you can remember it. If you have to get up, if you can get right back into bed and get back into that same position, it'll come back to you. Um, there have been so many dreams that have inspired me. However, probably the one that stands out the most is the parachute dream. That was when I had right around the time I had put my dreaming career on hold for a bit, and I decided to resurrect it, to finally publish my books, to get a website, to start Dream Enthusiast. I have never skydived yet. I had a dream that I jumped out of a plane and never even hesitated or looked down. And I knew exactly how to avoid crashing into the mountains, how to avoid landing in the water where there were sharks. I was just like, oh, yeah, okay, I can go this way, I can go that way. It's safe to land here. And my parachute just fanned out so elegantly behind me when I reached the water. And I didn't splash. It was just kind of a, okay, I'm in the water now. Like I'd been doing it every day of my life. And I looked really good too. Everything was all color coordinated and matchy. But the fact that the plane doors opened and I just ran and jumped and didn't even look down, and it felt as natural as breathing. I think that was my higher self subconscious way of telling me, even though you've never done this, you can do this.
Yeah, that is inspiring. Skydiving is definitely something on my bucket list, especially because I developed a fear of heights after actually traveling to Vegas. They had this crazy roller coaster at the top of a skyscraper, and
Oh,
typically I'm not a
yes.
fan of either of those things, but combined and really being so high off the ground that even helicopters look like little bugs flying by. I left that tower really with a new for gravity and the ground, and yeah, it's kind of stuck with me ever since. Now I can't watch like a scene from a movie with somebody up high without really feeling my heart rate accelerate and kind of putting myself there. It's like now I know how high you can really go. And one way that I've been able to tackle that fear through dream work is by practicing the ability to fly. Which, if you've ever had a lucid dream, it's probably one of the most exhilarating feelings ever. And it's not really easy to master either. It took me some time to really get off the ground and to believe in the ability, not to feel fear of falling or hurting yourself. I've crashed into a few buildings before. So that was very interesting. But yeah, that's one way that I've used dreams to sort of overcome a waking life fear I developed.
That is a scary roller coaster. I know exactly which one you're talking about because I had lived in Vegas for 27 years, and that one is just, yeah. So that is so amazing that you're able to connect like that in your lucid dreams.
Yeah, I will say that lucidity is great, and I've had a long journey of exploring that and learning consistent ways to master it for myself. I know it's different for everybody, and I encourage everyone to sort of have their own dream work practice. But after so much fun and fantasy, I really find some of the best experiences are to just be a conscious observer, taking a back seat and letting the dream kind of guide me through my subconscious. And I've sort of discovered so much more about myself by not asserting control that way. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. I feel like with our dreams, we're either the driver or the passenger. And that's one of the questions I always ask dreamers is, are you the active participant or the passive observer? Because when you're the active participant, there is an element of lucidity to your dream. You can make decisions, you can act, you can do things. Where when you're the passive observer, it's kind of like you're a fly on the wall or watching a movie just kind of play out. You're not really doing anything, just watching. So I feel like those are kind of the two kind of dreams, or main kind, that I feel like people have.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear more about your approach to dream analysis. That's definitely one component of dream work that I'm personally fascinated with. I know we found each other through your awesome Facebook group, the Dream Enthusiasts. And I'd like to hear your advice for somebody who's trying to learn more. Let's say they started remembering their dreams and they have enough to work with now. How do you go about analyzing them?
Well, the personal symbology is so important, Jesse. I developed a guided dream journal, which is my free gift to anyone in Dream Enthusiast. I don't know if you've seen it. It basically has, I can get it to you, or you can go in Dream Enthusiast. And thank you, by the way. I think we are a pretty awesome group. You can go in the files and download it. It's on a PDF. It's got a sample dream and then a sample interpretation, but it breaks down all of the symbols. And basically the question, are you the driver or the passenger? You know, the active participant, passive observer, what is the action in the dream, who's in the dream? And this is also really important, and I think this is something that a lot of people miss, is how did you feel during the dream versus how did you feel upon awakening? Because if you wake up from a dream and you think, you feel disappointed, like, oh, I wish that was real. That sucks that that was just a dream. Why can't it be real? Well, what's that saying? Is there something missing in your life? Conversely, if you wake up and, oh my God, I'm so glad that was such a dream, just a dream. I'm so relieved that it was just a dream. Well, that's saying something too. It could be an opportunity to course correct if you're kind of going off track, and maybe your dream showing you like, hey, you better get it together or this could happen. So those are things to really look at, how you feel during the dream versus awakening. And then after you've worked with the dream a little bit more, gone through some of the symbols, given meaning to them, giving your own personal meaning to them, and really digested it and sat with it for a minute. How do you feel later that day, a couple days later, in the coming weeks? Does that meaning change for you? Does the feeling change for you? I think that's a really important aspect, is, you know, how we feel during, after, and then later.
Yeah, I love that, because it feels like dreams are made of the stuff of emotions. And I've heard before that how you feel upon awakening can have real waking life implications, right? It's like you wake up from a nightmare and you're startled. You could be in a bad mood, or if you wake up from a really amazing dream, like what I've experienced every time I've had a lucid dream, it can be exhilarating and inspiring. You know, you're ready to tackle the day and to really make stuff happen. And so I think that's really a profound insight. Those emotions can unlock more dream fragments, which lead you to, improving your dream recall in profound ways as well. And I really like that. I definitely want to check out your guided dream journal. So I'll be sure to reach out to you after this and see what you've developed. So what does your dream journal look like? How do you go about recording your dreams?
It's the same process that that I use in my guided dream journal. I'll just write down the content, then I'll go through each of the symbols and, you know, what does this mean to me? What the action is? What was my emotion? And then what is the underlying theme or meaning for me? Then I'll step back and then go back to it later and then see what else comes to me, and if my feeling has changed. Has it shifted from a positive to a negative, from a negative to a positive? Am I still feeling neutral? Am I saying, I don't even know what this dream means? Let me get back to that later. because sometimes it can be something like one word that I've never heard before. Like, what is that? And I'll look it up. I still don't know what that is. And okay, that's a save for later. And I definitely like to do a quarterly dream summary where I go back and look at them and see, okay, who's showing up, what's showing up, is there a common thread here?
Yeah, I think you're really onto something. Once you have enough dreams to work with, especially over a few months, then usually there, at least for me, seem to be some recurring themes. And I define dream signs in two ways. So dream signs could be something that's just odd or strange or would stand out if you experienced it in waking life. It would definitely be like a pinch me, I must be dreaming moment. And then I also like to think of dream signs as these recurring themes that tend to represent themselves and maybe subconsciously indicate something that's left unresolved, right? So a lot of times a dream sign for me might be running from something, trying to escape from something, or being at a place that wouldn't make sense anymore, like a former work environment or something along those lines. Um, so let me think. What advice would you give to somebody who has started to improve their dream recall, but it still seems to be lacking in details? Like it's not vivid enough. They're kind of only remembering those partial fragments. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you can just focus on, even if your dream is just really small, you can just focus on amplifying your dream. I mean, really just, okay, I dreamed of a snowstorm and that's it. Okay, well, just zero in on what you can remember and then just get as much detail like, okay, there was a snowstorm. Where was I? Was I watching from safe and warm inside? Was I outside? Was I stuck in it? I mean, you can just take one element of your dream and really amplify it. And it's funny that you would ask that because I was going to bring that up in Dream Enthusiast. Because sometimes you only do get a little snippet and it's okay. Sometimes our dreams are like a scroll, they're so long. Other times they're just one or two things. And they're always relevant, no matter how long or short. I honestly prefer shorter dreams because I feel like when it's this long, there's just so much and it's just so easy to get lost in all the details. But when it's something short, it's a lot easier for me personally to just zero in and really focus.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. I guess the important stuff sort of sticks. Um, and I love the fact that you're advocating for just appreciating any amount you remember, even if it is something small, to be grateful for that and to recognize that just like sleep, dreams come and go in phases. Sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter, and it doesn't really matter as long as you stay consistent. That's the way I like to go about it.
Yes, consistency is key. It's like if you first start lifting weights, maybe you can only lift 5 pounds, then you just keep going 10 pounds. It's like a muscle, you just get stronger with it and you get more comfortable with your ability to decode your own dreams. And if you use the journal, the steps in the journal, it's pretty easy to get the meaning, your own personal symbology. But sometimes it's nice to have a group like Dream Enthusiasts or California Dreaming where you can just jump in and, hey, this was my dream. What do y'all think? And have all these other people chiming in that you feel good about and that you trust. And sometimes they'll come up with something like, oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. And it's very empowering to be able to share your dreams like that. And you can also glean from other people's dreams. And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of times in Dream Enthusiasts, um, we'll all kind of start dreaming the same things at the same time. Like one summer, it was all jungle cats. Everybody was dreaming of big jungle cats. Another time, for about a month or two, it was all cars going off cliffs. And I was noticing recently it's been shoes. There's been so many shoe dreams. So, and there's that one guy in the group that does the breakdown, like the percentage of this kind of dreams and that kind of dreams that we've had in our group over the month. I don't know if you've seen that. It's pretty interesting. I like that.
Yeah, that is definitely interesting how we can influence each other's dreams. I personally had this happen to me recently where a friend of mine on Discord reached out and said, "Hey, I've been really daydreaming a lot. I've had these like military type of dreams, and I'm thinking how crazy it would be if like I saw these rockets bursting in midair and exploding, and what that would feel like." And he said he experienced that several times, and I caught myself sort of imagining what he was describing. And 2 nights over the following days, I actually had a very similar experience in my dreams where I had not recalled anything like that until he mentioned it. And so I think that incubation or dreaming about specific things goes far beyond what we consciously recognize as an influence to our minds, really. And whatever we tend to like focus on or dwell upon, especially daydream and imagine, I think leaves a lasting impact on our subconscious that can influence the content of our dreams for sure.
Do you and he have shared dreams where you both dream of a thing?
So only that specific detail is the only thing I really recognized as like a shared aspect of it. It was like a detail that stood out to me, I guess. Um, but we've been working on developing like a consistent plan, almost like a step-by-step guide for dream incubation, where you do dream about certain things, you write out a script, you spend some time thinking about it. You can even develop a vision board to sort of provide a visual aid for the things that you want to experience. And in my opinion, it's those visuals and the things that leave an impression on you that can also kind of leak into the dreams. Dream sharing in and of itself, I think, is very controversial. I myself have never experienced something like this, so I can't really say if something like that is possible, but who knows, because there's still so much left unknown. I like to lean on like um, psychologist Carl Jung to talk about like the collective unconscious, right? Where we have these universal archetypes and universal themes all around us, right? If we share an immediate environment, if we, share experiences during our waking life, if we talk about specific things or care about specific things, then that's more likely what we're going to dream about. And from a metaphysical standpoint, maybe there is this ethereal space where, our frequencies can overlap and, intermingle. So what do you think about that?
Absolutely. I feel like there's no limit to what can happen in the dream space. I feel like we go beyond the time space continuum and we can go anywhere, uh, any different time, any different universe or multiverse. I feel like there's just there's infinite possibilities, and I feel like there's no limits. Yeah, it's just so open.
Yeah, when you've had a really vivid dream, lucid or not, it really can make you question the nature of reality and what we're experiencing. Like, is this real? Like, who are we to say what's real and what's not? I don't like using in real life. I prefer the terms in waking life because I think that invalidates the dream experience. So I like the dream world and waking life. But we've actually got some interesting comments on the side. Dee Dee said, some of my dreams have such an intensity that reverberate over years, even for sure. Um, I can tell you some dreams I've had like it was yesterday. And then she said, I dreamed I had sleeve tattoos with colors so bright and wonderful that I was in awe. Don't even remember when the last time I was in such a state of wonder. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Definitely a strong theme there. And this is somebody who follows the page. big supporter. They have recently increased their dream recall. So I think it's great that they are sticking with it and starting to, really catch some of these amazing details. I myself have been focused more on dream recall recently because I really want to amplify the quality of the dreams I'm experiencing. And last night I recalled 4 dreams for the first time in a while, so I was really proud of that. Some were partial, others were full length, like storylines. One was really vivid. I mean, I could tell you the colors of the walls and like the things on the walls, the things that I said, and the people who were there, and the way I felt, and all of these details that you mentioned earlier. And interestingly enough, it was in an old Spanish course I used to take with a specific professor, and I remembered trying to express myself in Spanish, and I couldn't quite find the words. And it was almost like my brain, they always say like, oh, listen to, audio while you're sleeping and you'll learn more. But in the dream, I literally think I was trying to practice speaking Spanish. And at a certain point, I had trouble, articulating myself. And then I had this profound thought. I was like, oh, we can just rely on artificial intelligence to translate what we want to say now. We don't, what do you think about that? And we had this debate in the classroom about using technology to bridge the gap between languages. So that was an interesting experience I just had last night. But that was after a few days of really not remembering anything. And I will admit, I had a really poor sleep schedule. I was staying up late, had some company over, might have had a few drinks and that sort of thing. But overall, I think dream work has encouraged me to live a healthier lifestyle, right? Because you can't dream without sleep. And in order to get quality dreams, you need quality sleep, which means, sleeping enough, trying to keep a consistent schedule, exercising, light exposure, proper nutrition, all these things during the day, like a double-sided coin, right? It's like you can't just spend 20 hours a day sleeping and hope to dream more. You have to like get up and be active and have this diversity of experiences that lends itself to, whatever the dream state might be, whether that's consolidating memories or simulating new experiences. I really do think there's a whole untapped potential there that most of the modern world seems to just overlook. Do you have a reason why, or theory even, why you think that is? Why most people just don't, care about this as much as we do, Laura?
Probably because they haven't experienced the kind of dreams like we have and seen the value. And seen, a lot of people just brush it off as, oh, that was a weird dream, like it's just some movie they watched on Netflix or some puzzle that their subconscious has thrown at them. I think when we've had prophetic dreams, we've had healing dreams, we've had the profound precognitive dreams, all of that, and been able to solve problems in our waking life, daily life, then it really, and also the prodromal dreams or the health dreams that can save your life. When we've had those kind of experiences, we learn to really value them. So I think a lot of these people haven't learned the value, or they may be afraid of what their subconscious is showing them. I think that's a fear for a lot of people. They don't want to go beyond the surface level and dig too deep because they might not like what they see. True intentions and motives can be revealed in your dreams, yours and others. So sometimes something comes up and it's like, oh, yeah, I have to look at that now. So that could be a big factor.
Yeah, I agree. It can be scary, right? You're exploring the unknown. It's an element of shadow work, even, right? Things that people normally forget and don't care about. What happens when you start to remember and pay attention? There is so much to be learned about the state of consciousness and the subconscious mind. It's always exciting for me just to spend some time reflecting, doing dream analysis, like we mentioned earlier, and seeing what really comes bubbling to the surface. So I agree with you. I think part of it is it's not easy. And and it's almost seems unnatural in today's society to remember your dreams. It's almost, it's almost, taboo or weird even that, why would you spend your time doing this or thinking about that? I want to rest. I don't want to dream. Well, the reality is you're dreaming anyway. And why not make the most of it, right? It's a universal human experience. I'd say has been appreciated in recent history and nowadays is so often neglected, but it can be used for good, truly. And if you just put in a little bit of effort and make the conscious intention to care, then you can see the results. And it's all about, the goals you have for yourself and how you go about practicing it. You mentioned something earlier about tapping into a community like California Dreaming or Dream Enthusiast. And really, that's what we're trying to do with starting an organization, is to create a safe space for people to tap into these resources and to be a part of something that feels active and engaging, right? So often you have these subjective experiences and there's just no one to talk to about it. I know I don't really necessarily have anybody in my immediate waking life that I could turn to and say, hey, what do you think this dream means? Because it's not something they've really spent time thinking or developing a skill for before. I could definitely talk to my wife and say, hey, I had this crazy dream about this, and we'll talk about it for 2 seconds. But beyond that, it's hard to connect with people. And one advantage of modern technology is that we can bridge the gap between hours and of space and time, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world. There's a community for you out there. So I'm really excited to see what the future of dream work has in store for all of us. And I know you've already done so much great work in this field. So far, I've heard an inspiring story of healing from you and how it's taken you sort of to run the gamut in metaphysics. Maybe you could tell us just a little bit more about your work or how people can connect with you if they want to learn more.
Absolutely. Well, step number one, join Dream Enthusiast. Post your dreams, ask questions. If they want to work with me privately, I do have a small amount of people I'll work with, and they can reach out to me on Facebook. I have a website. I have my books on my website. I also have them on Amazon. Check out my guided dream journal and just jump in. And I'm not the kind of dream analyst that's going to say your dream means this. It's like, okay, when somebody types out a dream or tells me a dream, I'm listening for the symbols, but I'm also listening for the emotion. I'm listening for a lot, the energy around the dream, and I'm going to kind of be interview style. What does this mean to you? How did you feel? It's like kind of like the dream is a 7-layer dip. We're going to start with the top layer and just keep digging and digging and digging and digging all the way to the bottom. So if somebody wants to work on dreams with me, they're going to have to do their part. So that's the kind of dream analyst I am.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love that approach, and using the if it were my dream, this is what it would mean to me, right? Because there's so many people who just claim to be the authority, or they gravitate towards that dream dictionary, which can be entertaining at least, right? But it so often cannot tell you what your own dream symbols mean with any meaningful insight. There are universal archetypes and common tropes, sure, and some things might resonate, but I think it is dangerous to outsource that power that you really have to look within to acquire. So I love that you bring all of that up. I'm so glad to have met you and to hear more about your story. I'm very grateful for your group on Facebook. But thank you so much, Lauara, for sharing your wisdom and experiences with us today. It has been truly enlightening.
Okay, shall I share my links or how should we?
Yeah. If you have any links you wanted to share, you can post it right now in the chats. There's a comment section that'll go right here on the live video for people to refer to later. I can add it to the description as well if you'd like. But yeah, definitely share that wherever you want.
Are we still live?
Yeah, we are. Yep.
Oh. Okay, so I'm typing out my inyourdreamsbook.com. That's my website. And then my books are on Amazon as well as my website under Lauara Suzanne. I have Sex, Love, and Romance, Money, Luck, and Success, and Welcome to Your Nightmares. So here we go, Amazon, Lauara Suzanne. And then, of course, joining Dream Enthusiast. Okay. And there's just a few questions that people need to answer, just the basic questions when they join the group, just, you know, for membership to be approved. They're just pretty basic ones. So. All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I really look forward to carrying on our conversation about nightmares in particular. We could probably have a whole episode about that because it's something I've dealt with a lot. Recently, it's been a little bit better, though. I feel like I was led to some profound insights by like a dream therapist, Melissa Johnson, who helped me realize that I wasn't really taking care of myself as much as I should be in waking life, specifically with my gut health, diet, nutrition, and I wasn't eating enough, for example, and especially not enough of the right foods. But once I started keeping a food diary along with my dream diary, it was amazing to see how those two things overlapped and made a difference on the content of my dreams. So yeah, I'm sure that's something we could get into. Definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, I have a whole book just on nightmares alone, just, you know, the difference between nightmares and night terrors, just all the different kinds of nightmares you can have, and how every dream is an opportunity to course correct. You can always look at that dream and say, okay, this is a preview. What do I need to change? And or sometimes it's just something, a shadow, or a part of yourself that you just need to face, or a situation that you need to just learn from and evolve past. So there's always a gift, but it's such a big subject that a whole book was devoted to it.
Awesome. Okay. So with that, everyone, and to our viewers, thank you for joining us on this journey through the Dream Dojo. Remember, understanding our dreams can unlock new paths to self-discovery and personal growth. Until next time, keep dreaming and exploring the limitless possibilities within your own subconscious. Peace and sweet dreams.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.